Hello, beautiful community, Sonder family. It's so nice to see you on this Monday morning as we are here to kick August to the curb, our last week of this very long month. So I am so glad to welcome you. Oh, Gloria lived in South Texas. Wow, for 15 years. I was actually born in Corpus Christi, Gloria. So, and then I lived on the Gulf Coast, like up and down the coast, my entire adult life until 4 years ago when I relocated to the Dallas, Texas area. And I just said, oh, McAllen, my grandparents were in McAllen. My grandmother was a librarian in McAllen, Gloria. That's so fun. Oh, and Mandy, you were born in Bryan. My mom lives in College Station now. That's where she's retired. So I love the Texas connections. Thank you for reaching out. So you have found our Monday morning setup, and I don't know about y'all, but August has me dragging. We're all ready for those cool breezes, and there's that quote about we're about to see how beautiful it is to let things go with the examples of our trees when they let those leaves go, and just a change in season is such a new start. We've got some kids who went back to school today. So I know some of y'all are like, I've got my house back. So welcome. My co-facilitator today is the fabulous Malika. She'll be hanging out in the chat. She's there to support you with any questions if you need some more information. We have limited information to headquarters stuff, but she can definitely share those links that'll get you the answers you're looking for. So, is there anyone here for the very first time? I know that we've got some September journals coming in. This can be one of those transition weeks because the last week of August is in. Ashley is here for the first time. Welcome, Ashley. Um, we've got the last week of August, of course, in our August journal, but it also August, this last week shows up as kind of that first week in September's journal. So some of you may be here for the very first time with a brand new journal going, what do I do with this? So we're really glad we've got several. Jennifer's here for the second time. And then we have Kristen who's joining for the first time, and Amy. So I'm so and oh, this is your first webinar. Ashley's been here, but she hasn't come to a social. So this is your community. You found your people because you will never find a place where you'll get more encouragement just about life. We do life together. We set our goals, we share. You are invited to always come as you are. If it's a bad day, come. If you just feel like you just need a little extra support, come. We are your accountability partners to really taking our journals to the next step, making them really work in our lives, keeping them fresh, finding new ways of making them very personal to what we have going on. So I welcome you. And yeah, Patricia says she's looking forward to a break in the heat. And like, these hot summer days, they make us weary. Anyhow, we are so glad you're here. So again, I'm Jennifer Ogilvy, and I am in the Dallas, Texas area, and I'm ready to welcome the Burr months. And I did talk about the fact that we are sitting here with August and September. So you are invited to set up whatever week is speaking to you. Sometimes when we have the same week in two journals, I jump straight into that brand new journal because I'm just ready for a new start. That is one of the beautiful things about Silk and Sonder is that physical reminder that there's a new start. But I am going to finish up this week in my August and kind of use those extra pages in September for notes pages or whatever. So you guys can use what works for you. If, you've heard me say it before, if August has been a dumpster fire, go ahead and give yourself that permission to start in your brand new journal. Kind of mentally make that shift into a new month. When we are together, we like to remind you of our community guidelines. We create safe spaces here. We create safe, positive spaces in our Sonder Club app. And so we ask you to please observe these community guidelines so that we are taking care of not only each other, but ourselves. And as you know, we're saying goodbye to freedom this month. I love how freedom has helped us kind of look at different things in our life and what we consider free. We find a lot of empowerment when we can embrace that idea of freedom. And so I think it's going to be fun to lean into knowledge in September. These monthly themes really do help us get to know ourselves better. So I kind of like that idea of what freedom means, and knowledge plays such a big part of that. So it's going to be a neat transition. Just a quick shout out, y'all. This sticker set has over 2,000 stickers in it. I want to shout it out to you. If you think you might want to try stickers, this is a great place to start. You can get on silkandsonder.com to place an order for that. So if you've been, pardon me, on the fence about this, this is a great set to to try. And I like to really have you be mindful of that kind of with this end of the month, beginning of the month, so that you've got them to use. Okay, so this morning we are finishing up our mind map. We're going to do our rosebud thorn reflection, which is a staple of our weekly setups. And we're going to be looking at our setup pages. And you're always invited to use your journal just as it is, but I'll have a lot of examples from y'all to show how people have refashioned spaces to really work for what their life is bringing them. But for those of you who are brand new, for coming to when you come to a weekly setup, you get a bonus journal prompt, and they're always based on the actual theme of the month. And so each week we take that theme and then dig into an area in our life. So of course we've been doing freedom. So we've had these 3 prompts for freedom. So if you're here for the first time, feel free to grab a screenshot. I'm going to show you all 4 weeks worth of questions. And that's a good hint too. If you see if you see something on the screen you like this morning, grab a screenshot or I always say sit with your phone and just take a picture. I know a few of you have a little Silk and Sonder folder, and you throw these ideas in there. And you will be able to access this recording as well as, 800 other recordings when we're done. And Malika will share that link with you. So we've been looking at freedom through 4 lenses. And the first week was personal freedom, what that looks like in our life. The second week was our financial freedom, and I know that one was a biggie. That was really good. I think a lot of us really dug into what that means, some things we need to do to feel a little more free. And then last week was emotional freedom, and this week we're finishing up with intellectual freedom. So important, right? So our question is, consider a topic or an idea that you're passionate about, but you might feel a little limited in exploring or expressing due to external pressures. Maybe there's pressures from, um, work, home, people that are in your lives, or maybe you have this sense of self-doubt. So think about what fears or barriers are holding you back, and then how can you create a space in your life where you can explore and share those thoughts without fear of judgment. And so I sat and thought about, this can get really big and heady. So you might do a little blurb to this morning and be done. Or this could be something that kind of, I always say, marinates in your brain throughout the week. But I started thinking about maybe some directions you could take this if you're not exactly sure. When I first read this, I thought, well, I don't feel like there's really that many barriers in my life. I think some of that comes with I'm older. I'm no longer working outside the home. So I didn't feel like, initially, and then I kind of started thinking, well, there are some like hobby things, some creative passions and pursuits I'd like to explore. And my number one thing would be financial. I can't just go do what I want, right? I'm retired. I'm kind of on a fixed budget, and I can't just go do what I want. So that could be a barrier that I explore. You could also look at how you experiment in life artistically. Think about some philosophical or spiritual inquiries, cultural heritage, political views. Oh my, that's a hot topic right now. Social issues that you are passionate about. Maybe there's something from your early years. What did you do in childhood that you don't do now that maybe you could explore? Scientific mysteries. Maybe there's an area of advocacy that you're very passionate about. Your presence on social media. What does that look like? Public speaking. Maybe it's time to write a personal memoir. Language learning. Explore why you feel a particular way about a hot topic. And then you can be very light with this and take that kinda change my mind attitude, like cereal is a soup, change my mind. That's sort of a thing in social media, that trend that's happening. So maybe there's just something kind of funny you could explore. And I put or PSL, that's that pumpkin spice latte. There seems to be so much controversy around that. So you could do kind of a lighter take on intellectual freedom and embracing how you take in thoughts, and explore those things that are ruminating around. So let's put on some music and, again, take your time with this. It doesn't have to be answered now. I'll go back and forth between this slide and the one that has all four in case the folks who are just joining us, or if you missed a week, you can grab that screenshot too. I'll check in with you in just a moment. Okay, I'm laughing because Christine shared that no. Megan shared that a friend had sent her a podcast she listened to. It's kind of mind blowing, and it hits really nicely with this week's prompt because she can journal about it because she's not really sure it settles. I said, "That's great." And she said, "Yeah, but I'd I'd rather do pumpkin spice latte, right?" Sometimes it's tough to dig in, and so always remember, give yourself permission to be in the headspace to work on prompts. Like, don't force yourself through unless you just really need to get some stuff on paper. And then I asked Gloria to reshare in the chat if y'all didn't see how she approached this. Go take a look at how she is approaching this idea of intellectual freedom. She just reposted that so that you guys can all see that. Um, but yeah, and Holly says, she wants to get physically stronger so that she can pursue new opportunities. And so, that deep dig into what's going on and giving yourself that grace, you guys. This is what these prompts are all about, just those deeper digs as we carry on through life and get to know we don't have to have all the answers, but it's good to start pondering, right? And think about, what things look like. So now let's flip to page 50 in the August journal, or you can do this on a scratch sheet of paper, a little note space in your September journal. This is that rosebud thorn reflection that we like to share every week. We do this reflection is so important. You may like, why do we do the gratitudes? Taking time to look back over the things that we celebrate and finding that gratitude. Y'all, there is so much science about what expressing gratitude mindfully will do for us as human beings. And so that's why this is so critical to take a moment of that reflection and finding gratitude. So, those roses we are celebrating together, and they can be little things like I brushed my teeth 7 days this week, or they could be something humongous, right? You got a big promotion at work and the answer to all the things that you've been looking for. So it's really up to you. Sometimes a rose, just those small things are what we embrace. The bud, it can be as simple as you are here today and it's a new week. A new month is on the horizon. It doesn't have to be huge, but what's coming your way? What are you looking forward to? What plans do you have? These could even be those kind of short-term and long-term goals that are coming your way. And then the thorns are those challenges. We all have them. Sometimes they're ginormous. I say they don't go away, like health issues. Uh, they are what they are. And then other ones are just, you're inconvenienced. And so if you'll notice, my bud and my thorn are the exact same thing this week. It's working in the yard. I've got to get my yard ready for fall because I'm a gardener. That's one of my passion hobbies. So I'm excited about that, except it's so hot. And I go outside and, 105, and I can't hang anymore. So just that heat has been my thorn. Y'all know I've complained about the heat all summer. I am so sorry because it's not like it's gonna change. Um, but my rose was I had a doctor's appointment with my mom who is in College Station, and I met my best friend in a little town called Navasota, and we ate a place called Martha's Bloomers, and it was a nursery that had a cafe and a gift shop, and that just she's my best friend. I moved away from her, and it was just really good to see her and connect. So I'm going to put on a little bit of music while you do this. Feel free to share, and it is okay to share the not so great things. Let us help you carry that and give power to putting it on paper and knowing that you're not by yourself in those roses. And then we'll move on with our weekly setup. thank you for taking a moment and sharing as you were comfortable. There are some tough thorns out there. And again, sometimes they don't go away, but there's some power in being able to put it on paper. And I will challenge you. I don't want to sound, like you know, it's happy, 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 but with some of those thorns, especially the ones that don't go away, try to embrace maybe what that journey with that thorn is going to teach you and what you can glean from those tougher times. And then, of course, we just celebrate all the good things that are happening in your lives. Now, let's take a look at our setup. And I want to start with those weekly spreads very quickly, especially for those of you who are new, but also maybe you're thinking of a way to freshen up how you're using your journal. And so you'll find the weekly spread on pages 54 through 56. That's a Monday through Sunday spread in the August journal, and then pages 28 through 30 in the September journal. And if you see something here that you like, grab that screenshot and maybe you can think about how you set those pages up. I know sometimes you look at it like, I don't know what to put here. And other people, you have your cadences with that. So I pulled a few examples just for you all to take a look at. You can see that there's I actually do to-do list in this space often. And then I do like 3 things from the day that I'm grateful for. It's kind of that end of the day reflection, but you can see how folks have set this up. And one of these spaces may be something that you incorporate, a negative thoughts night journal, like trying to really claim those thoughts and just put them on paper, kind of like the thorn that we just did. um, Looking at plans, gratitudes, the affirmations. Lots of folks like to put their daily affirmation there, or maybe use that one thing box. Here's appointments and goals, a little daily victory, celebrating each day, the win that you had. And I love the idea of that. If you see the one in the middle, the bottom one, sleep on it. Just what am I going to leave here and go to sleep and we'll address later. So I just thought it's kind of nice to see those pages every now and then. Maybe there's something that'll speak to you. So let's flip backward now to either 52 and 53 in August or 26 and 27 in September. Here are many, many ways that folks repurpose these spaces or include these here. So you might want to get that. I mentioned that I am a gardener, so a space in my journal will get repurposed heavy in the fall and springtime. Most of the time I do it in my mind, body, soul because it's, about the gardening stuff. And then I don't need it so much like in the dead of winter or like right now in August. Nothing's growing. So I changed that up to be a garden tracker so I can track, those kinds of tasks. Here is a couple of examples of completed pages, how folks have used those spaces. Now let's kind of break it up and we will start with how you want to feel this week. We like to kind of claim a feeling for the week. Now you may choose to do the setup and then see what the week is bringing you and pop up, come away with a word after you see what the week is bringing you. But there's lots of ways you can do this. You can do a quote, a mantra, throw a fun sticker there. If you are a word of the year person, maybe your word of the year just goes in this space every single week. If you have a word that is working for you, just bring that forward. Feel free to share in the chat what word you'll be claiming this week. I've already forgotten what word I put accomplished, and then I wrote I'm going to tackle those tasks. I just kind of have a to-do list, and they always seem to like gather up at the end of the month, that to-do list that I just didn't get everything done. John is saying powerful, joy, abundance, and accomplish. I love all of those words. They can be simple. I also like that example you see at the bottom of the screen there. Sometimes your different days need a different manifestation. So you may have a different word for that. Oh, Gloria, yes, we need revitalization in these hot summer months, ready for growth, empowered. So excellent. So let's take now those words and then oh, I think we might have had a kitty cat drive by there. Sonja, energize, accomplish. Well, we're going to take these words and dig into our goals and our to-dos. And oh, well, happy birthday to your son, Chelsea. That's fun. So the weekly major 3 goals, you can use a space for goals. You can also repurpose. There's a little list of things in the middle there of repurposing, but lots of folks like to use their intentions to drive this, and you might want to go revisit those intentions for August. It's the last week. How are we finishing? Are we finishing strong? You could set your goals through the lens of freedom or knowledge, either one of those themes that will be we're finishing freedom, we're transitioning to knowledge. So maybe that helps guide your goals, or look at the previous weeks and see what's going on. I love this one. Their goal is celebrate my birthday. So maybe that's what you do, Chelsea, for your son. That's it. The whole week is going to be about celebrating him. Now, when we work on these sections, I'll go back through these slides. So don't panic if you didn't grab something. But I love the idea of thinking about no goals, the goals that you say no to, no more of this. Maybe go visit that reflections page in your journal this month and see what were you going to stop on that stop, start, and continue box. What were you stopping? Have you worked through those things that you wanted to stop? Do they need to become a no goal for the week? Lots of folks like to just take a topic, a theme, and make their goals come out of that theme. And so they used their word of the week to drive those 3 goals. You can also have 4 goals. You can have 1 goal. And then I know many of us like to just do these 3 categories and plug something in. That's just an easy way of figuring out what your goals will be. A lot of different ways folks use it. You'll see some alliteration there, like maybe you have a goal for delete, delegate, delight, revive, relax, reconnect, and then you just plug in those goals. Here's some examples of how folks have done those categories and then created their goals around that. And then your goals can also directly drive your to-do list. So you can see how our Sonder family they've tied in their to-dos to those goals that they've set for themselves. This idea of checking off a daily check-in, you can see that. The 2 examples on the left, we're going to be checking in with self each day to make sure that you are addressing those things that you want to do. Then you can also repurpose this space. It doesn't have to be 3 goals. It can be maybe a tracker of your morning routines. Or I love the self-love idea. Someone has put a bingo board there, the one over there on the right, keeping and then like that calm mind, strong body, creative spirit, just that overall general feeling. Here's some more ideas for setting your to-dos up. You can use stickers, a list of your daily to-dos, divide these up: self, home, others, that kind of thing. Sometimes dividing that up to read, to watch, to listen, a school list, a personal list. So lots of ways to use these 2 spaces. Um, and then I am team to-da. That's where I put my to-dos in the weekly spread, and then the extras that I do, I give myself that kind of endorphin dump by writing them down in the to-da box, my to-do box, the things that I got done. But maybe you are focusing on how to be this week, Or again, what do you need to eliminate? You make a to don't list. You can use this, take what you need with that. I also want to drop down and look at our habits and activities. As a reminder, these can be the same things that are in the front of your journal, that big habit tracker wheel, but these can also be made so that it reflects the actual week you're having. Maybe you have some activities that are occurring just a couple or 3 times, and so you put that activity down there. I take a medication every 3rd day, and so that goes in this list for me, and I circle that day, that it's gonna be. But I also will put go check monthly habit tracker, and sometimes something from my habit tracker in the monthly will go in this habit tracker so that I can make sure I'm double checking in with myself. Some things I want to point out here, you'll see the one in the upper left corner, the night walk with audiobook. When you see habits that are paired together, we call that habit stacking. That is from James Clear, Atomic Habits. And basically, what you do is you take a habit that you are already doing, and then you pair a new habit with that. And the chances of that new habit taking hold increase because you've paired those two things together. So I had a hard time remembering to take my morning vitamins. And so what I did is I wrote it down. I wrote brush teeth because I do that every morning, take vitamins. And that helped me establish that new habit of adding in those vitamins every morning. When you set this space up, you can set goals for the number of times you want this to happen, or you can ignore the goals. Just use this as a straight tracker. The one that I just referred to with the habit stack there in the upper left, there's also days circled. And those are kind of those days you're really going to embrace those goals. You can indicate it by circling those days. So you've got that, image that you're looking at. The one that is in the middle over on the right, you notice this person is only tracking Monday through Wednesday. I believe they were taking a trip, and so they're not going to worry about the goals on vacation. This could also be a great space to put kind of your Monday through Friday work week mentality, whether you work inside the home or outside of the home. And then you give yourself the weekend off. So these don't always have to be filled in all the way. It's again about taking what you need for your life. Again, some more examples. You can kind of gamify it, do a countdown like the bottom middle there, the 5 things, 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, 1 thing. That's kind of a fun way to frame out your habits and activities, as well as just tracking. Like you see on the bottom right, they're just going to track. We're not setting a certain number. So let me stop talking, put on a good chunk of music as we write down our goals, our to dos, and then dig into those habits and activities for the week. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a few moments. activities. So we've worked on our habits and activities. We've set those goals for the week or the one goal. We have our to-do space figured out. We're either going to do to-dos or we've got our things that we're going to do. Maybe there's a bingo board there. You'll hear us talk a lot about bingo boards. I'm going to show you some more examples of that. That is a very fun way to accomplish tasks or mark things off of your list. You gamify, and that gamify stuff does. There's a lot of the good hormones that will dump into your brain, the dopamine, the good kind of dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, and you get these nice, lovely hits that just make you feel so good. So gamification is a lot of fun when you're setting up your journal. Now we're going to go over to that second page. In August it's 53 and in September it's 27. We're going to take a look at all the spaces on this page because this page I think gets repurposed more than page one, and we kind of adapt this around to work best for our lives. But here's, three different examples of how folks have set this space up. And I think when we are looking at all the different ways you can set these spaces up, like I'm going to show you things for the meal plan, but you may choose to put something that you see in the meal plan over in your body, mind, spirit space, or maybe you'll repurpose the shopping list. So here are three ways that someone has used their meal plan for actual nutrition, right? So they're either tracking food or planning food or tracking like macros, just making sure they're hitting those numbers, those targets that they've set for themselves. But a lot of times I use mine as a leftover tracker so that, we can remember when we had something and we don't give ourselves food poisoning. Um, Here is a whole list of things you could consider to put in this meal plan space. There's also like this clothing plan. Maybe when I was teaching and working with kids, and then when I was an administrator, kids notice if you if you've repeated an outfit, like, "Didn't you wear that yesterday?" So I actually tracked my clothing. Now, I didn't have Silk and Sonder in my life. It didn't exist back then, but I would write down what I wore. So that could be something, that speaks to you. We love the idea of the meal plan for my soul. So you keep it a meal plan, but what is feeding your soul with those journal reflections? And again, I'll go back through all of these slides while you work on this page. Again, here's just some more examples of how folks are setting up this meal plan. Um, there's the mind body health plan. So maybe something you see here will actually go in your meal plan space. We love those big spaces that are in the meal plan. We have a community member, Nathania, and she always does the how do I feel and what do I need? And this is so beautiful because if you take time to do this reflection, you could do it at the end of the day to sort of reflect on what the day brought you, but you could also use this as a morning check-in to kind of set yourself on a good pace for the day. If you're feeling tired, ask yourself, what do I need today so that I can get a little over that tiredness? Do I need to go take a walk on my break? I had shared with you all a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to lean into eating more of the rainbow. And so there's my example of when I started tracking and the mindfulness that happened for me as I was truly leaning into that. So week one, I ate a total of 9 different things. I ate fruits and vegetables every day, but it was like the same thing every day. So 9 of those things showed up throughout the week. Anytime I ate something new, wrote it down. And so I did a lot of leftovers from the Monday and Tuesday days that week. But after I tracked it for 6 weeks and really tried to be mindful, I got that number up to 21. And it was just that power of writing it down and committing and seeing it and bringing that mindfulness. So what is there something in your life that you're wanting to do? Bring it to one of these pages so that you can be mindful of it and you're seeing it and you're giving yourself that constant feedback as you're working with that. How did I care for me? Lots of different ways to set up that mind body health plan. I did Maya and I did an exclusive last Thursday on your learning styles and how, or preferences, and how that shows up in your journal setup. If you weren't able to attend, you can always email hello@silkandsonder.com and you can purchase the video. It's still the $10 tuition for those exclusives, but we showed how your learning preferences show up in your journal. And a lot of that can show up on pages like this as you repurpose and figure out why something is working for you and what will work for you best. So that self-care bingo over there, that's a sticker person, probably a kinesthetic learner. So we leaned into that kind of thing. There are, some folks just, what are my songs for the week? Your little weekly playlist. Again, lots of different ways to set that up. Maybe you like to embrace that fun alliteration of the days, and there are a ton of ways to frame out each day with some fun descriptors. And you can see a couple of examples from our community on embracing alliteration just to make it a little more fun. And I keep my shopping list on my phone because I share that with my husband. So whoever's out can get what's on the shopping list. So I always repurpose this into a fun bingo board. And it's usually tasks and treats. So the tasks that I really want to get done, but also some treats, like maybe I'll go to Sonic and get my peach iced tea. But you can see some great examples for bingos. If you are celebrating something this week, someone like the birthday boy that will be celebrated, or it's your birthday or anniversary, I think it's fun to do a bingo around that. Something that's fun for you. Maybe you put a routine that you're trying to really sync up here. Someone even used it as a little washy scrap graveyard, and they just, when they cut their tape, they put all that tape there. But you can be very creative here, as you can see. Lots of fun ways to repurpose. I will include the social check-in in my setups, because I think that one is so important to make sure that you are connecting to people in your life. I actually was inspired by that and put that as one of my habits in the habit tracker, the monthly habit tracker. And when I check in with somebody, I just write their initial there, because we did move and I want to stay connected to those people in my life. And then finally, I'm asking you, what are you loving right now at this very moment? For me, I have a week of being able to catch up. I'm home. I don't have grandkid responsibilities. I'm going to get a little more organized. So that's what I'm loving right now. If there's something fun, a product, something you've discovered, share that in the chat. So I'm going to stop talking. We're going to work on this and then we'll wrap things up. Let us know what you do on these pages. My apologies. When I went off camera, I overshot and ended up back in some of the first page slides, so it looked like it was going way too fast, and I apologize for that, but I got us back to the second page. I kinda overshot. I think the ca I think the caffeine has kicked in. So my friends, I wanna thank you for joining us, for carving out this time of making sure that you have, held yourself accountable for setting up your week. We'd love to see your setup. You can see the examples came from our community. So if you are ever so led to share like the whole page or even just one section of a repurpose that you have found is working for you, please feel free to do that. Also, check out that private beta personal coaching if you are interested in that. You can also reach out to customer care if you have some price concerns and see if they are able to work with you on that. I get mine actually every night, and then I think about it, and start my day thinking about that. There are those QR codes to refer a friend, upgrade to an annual subscription. Give us feedback in the survey. Let us know, times of socials that work for you, that kind of stuff. And Malika's going to drop some links in the chat for you, but the one you're really going to want to take a look at is that YouTube link for all of our recorded socials that you can access. You can go back anytime and watch. The only thing is it doesn't have the chat, and oh my goodness, we love our chat because that's how we get to meet and greet one another, and we get to know each other. So, thanks for letting us be your accountability partner this morning. We're going to finish August strong. We're going to be filled with grace if we didn't get some things done that we wanted to get done. It's okay. We got a new month. Let's just move some stuff over or decide how important this thing really was. Maybe it just wasn't the season to do it. And we're going to be excited about embracing our new theme, Head of Knowledge. And I will see you next week. Have a good one, Sonder family.